You are now watching The Beach.
The Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct finally happened. They announced a lot of details about the system. They finally showcased Mario Kart World. And we're finally getting a new Donkey Kong with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Those are all some amazing announcements. And they also released some very important details about the Nintendo Switch 2. The release date, the C button, but there's one they didn't announce. Probably one of the most important aspects, that being the price. I initially thought they didn't do it because if the Nintendo Direct aired, it could confuse people based on regions, even though they probably modify it based on region. That was optimistic thinking, but the reality of it is much worse than you think. Nintendo Switch 2 games will not be $70 like everyone worried. Instead, some of them, Mario Kart World, are going to be $80. $80! Now the thing is, let's take a look at Mario Kart World. Looking at the size and scope of it and considering how long it's been since Mario Kart 8, yeah, maybe it could be justified for Mario Kart World. And the thing is, I'm just gonna say it up front, considering I have a Nintendo channel and I'm a diehard Nintendo fan and diehard Mario Kart fan, yeah, I'm gonna get it. But this sets a really bad precedent for Nintendo Switch 2 games going forward, and this could really damage sales for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, getting into Mario Kart World being $80, I don't think it's a good thing. It's the same way I felt about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom being $70. Could it be justified considering the development time and scope? Maybe, but still, even if it's justified, Nintendo is the richest company in Japan. They do not need to do this. It's not like they're desperate for money. It is a problem that Mario Kart World is going to cost $80, but the grim reality of it is, this is going to set a really bad precedent for Nintendo Switch 2 games going forward. We can fully expect the next Zelda game to be $80. We can also fully expect the next 3D Mario game to be $80. And we could expect the new Pokemon generation to be $80 as well. But then, if Nintendo gets really comfortable with it and these games sell well, you could literally expect Nintendo Switch 2 games to average around $80 for first-party releases. Who's to say we won't get something like a Mario baseball game for $80? Now the thing is, Donkey Kong Bonanza is $70, so it seems that $70 is going to be the standard and Mario Kart World could be the exception. Kind of like how Tears of the Kingdom was the $70 exception of the Nintendo Switch. But again, it could set a really bad precedent. If the $80 games are designated to Mario Kart World, 3D Mario, Zelda, just major stuff like that, it sucks. But if it's just a few games, it's not that big of a deal. But the idea of it becoming normal or a standard is really scary and just disgusting to think about. I get the prices are going up and everything like that, but part of what makes Nintendo so appealing, or at least used to, is that quality gaming didn't necessarily need to be outrageously expensive. You look at something like the Nintendo 2DS. In the later years of the 3DS, you could literally get a Nintendo 2DS with Mario Kart 7 for the price of Mario Kart World. $80 for a full-on system and a game. But nowadays, $80 will literally get you a game, and on the Nintendo Switch, it would get you controllers that don't even work. It is really a different era of Nintendo. I don't feel like that's why they're making a lot of money during this era. That's because they have quality games. But let's look at the Nintendo Switch, for example. If you wanted to get something like Mario Kart and just a system casually, you could literally get a Switch Lite and Mario Kart for $260. And even if you want to get a regular Switch, it's only around $360. A far cry from what the Nintendo Switch 2 actually costs, and that's what I'm going to get into next. Switch 2 is going to be $450. That right there, it's more expensive than I would have liked, but it's only $50 more, considering the power we saw. Not a huge deal in the grand scheme of things, so that's why I really highlighted those $80 games. So far it's just Mario Kart, but there are definitely going to be more of them. And I think that is going to backfire badly for Nintendo. They could get away with $70, but $80 for a casual consumer? That might be pushing it. To get the Nintendo Switch 2 and Mario Kart World, it's going to be $500 if you want to get that bundle. And with tax and everything, it's going to be a lot more. But the thing is, this actually happened with the Nintendo 3DS. Nintendo got cocky after the Nintendo DS and released the 3DS, and it was $250. You want to know what happened? The launch of the 3DS backfired completely. Not only did they not have a compelling library of launch games or launch window games, at least the Switch 2 has that, but they literally had to cut the price months later and release Game Boy Advance games and NES games to early adopters to apologize for it. I don't think that the Nintendo Switch 2 and its games will sell as well considering just how much more expensive it is. I'm definitely expecting a price cut to happen because die-hard Nintendo fans are definitely going to get it. I do expect it'll sell better than the Wii U, but those casual fans of Nintendo, it's going to be harder to reel them in. And unfortunately, this is the reality. Everything has just gotten so much more expensive, and of course, they're going to be the fanboys defending it. But this is not good news, and it sets an awful precedent going forward. So what do you guys think? I know I'm not happy about it. Let me know in the comments, and keep calm and da-don.